It was a Tuesday morning like any other. The sun was shining, birds were singing, and Rebecca was outside watering her flower garden. She loved spending time with her plants. It made her feel peaceful after years of working as a counselor before she retired. Rebecca had just finished watering her roses when she heard a strange sound from behind the big fence that separated her backyard from the alley. It sounded like someone had fallen down. At first, she thought maybe it was just a cat or dog. But then she heard something that made her heart stop. A little child crying. She quickly walked toward the fence, pushing aside the green vines that grew there. What she saw made her gasp. A young woman was lying on the ground, and she looked very sick and tired. Next to her was a little girl, maybe 4 years old, with tears running down her face. The woman's clothes looked like she had been wearing them for days, and both of them seemed scared and hungry. Rebecca didn't think twice. She rushed over to help them. The little girl looked up at her with big, frightened eyes, but she didn't run away. Instead, she held tighter to her mother's hand. "Hey there, sweetie," Rebecca said softly to the child. "It's okay. I'm here to help." The woman on the ground slowly opened her eyes. She looked around, confused, like she didn't know where she was. When she saw Rebecca, panic filled her face. "Please," the woman whispered, her voice so quiet Rebecca had to lean down to hear her. "Please don't call anyone. Don't let them take her away from me. They want to take my baby, but she's not safe with them. Please, I'm begging you." Before Rebecca could ask what she meant, the woman's eyes closed again, and she fainted. Rebecca felt her heart racing. What was happening here? Who wanted to take this little girl away? And why was this mother so scared? Rebecca looked at the child, who was now crying harder. The little girl's clothes were dirty, and she looked like she hadn't eaten in a while. But what worried Rebecca most was the fear in her eyes. The kind of fear that comes from seeing things no child should ever see. "What's your name, honey?" Rebecca asked gently. "Lily," the little girl whispered. "Is my mommy going to be okay?" "Yes, sweetheart. Your mommy is just very tired. Let's help her, okay?" Rebecca had to make a quick decision. Her first thought was to call for help. Maybe the police or an ambulance. But something about the mother's desperate words stopped her. The woman had been so afraid, so sure that calling someone would make things worse. Rebecca had worked with families for over 20 years before she retired. She had seen enough to know that sometimes the people who are supposed to help can actually make things worse. Sometimes the system fails, and good people get hurt. She decided to trust her gut feeling. Instead of calling anyone, she gently picked up little Lily, who was surprisingly light. The child didn't fight her. Instead, she seemed relieved that someone was taking care of them. "Let's get your mommy inside where she can rest," Rebecca told Lily. "Are you hungry? I have some cookies and milk." Lily nodded, wiping her nose with the back of her hand. Together, they helped the unconscious woman, who was much lighter than she should have been. Rebecca could tell she hadn't been eating enough. Took some effort, but Rebecca managed to get both of them into her house. She put the woman on her couch and covered her with a soft blanket. Lily sat right next to her mother, holding her hand and watching her face carefully. Rebecca went to her kitchen and made some warm soup and sandwiches. She also prepared a glass of cold water and found some of the cookies she kept for when her neighbor's kids visited. "Here you go, Lily," she said, offering the food. "Your mommy will feel better after she rests and eats something." The little girl ate like she hadn't seen food in days, which made Rebecca even more worried. What had these two been through? Where had they been living? And who was trying to take Lily away from her mother? As Rebecca watched Lily eat, she noticed other things that concerned her. The child was very quiet and seemed to be always listening, like she was waiting for something bad to happen. She jumped whenever there was a loud noise, like when the refrigerator made a sound or when a car drove by outside. After about an hour, the woman on the couch started to wake up. She looked around confused again until she saw Lily eating at Rebecca's kitchen table. "Lily!" she called out, trying to sit up quickly but falling back down because she was still weak. "Mommy!" Lily ran over to her. "The nice lady gave me food, and she said you're going to be okay." The woman looked at Rebecca with suspicious eyes. "Why didn't you call the police? Why are you helping us?" Rebecca sat down in the chair across from the couch. "Because you asked me not to, and because I can see that you and your daughter need help, not more problems." The woman started crying. Not loud crying, but quiet tears that showed how scared and tired she was. "You don't understand. They're looking for us. If they find us, they'll take Lily away from me and she won't be safe. I can't let that happen. I'd rather die than let them hurt her." "Who is they?" Rebecca asked gently. "Maybe I can help you figure this out." The woman, who said her name was Anna, shook her head. "No one can help us. The system is broken. They don't care about what's best for children. They only care about money and power." Rebecca had heard this before. In her years as a counselor, she had seen cases where good parents lost their children because someone with more money or influence worked the system in their favor. It didn't happen often, but when it did, it was heartbreaking. "Why don't you tell me what happened?" Rebecca said. "Maybe together we can find a solution. I used to work with families going through difficult times. I might know some people who can help." Anna looked at Lily, who had finished eating and was now coloring, with some crayons Rebecca had given her. The little girl seemed calmer now, but Anna could see that her daughter was still scared. "I don't know if I should trust you," Anna said, "but I don't have anywhere else to go. We've been running for weeks, sleeping in parks and shelters, trying to stay hidden. I spent our last money on a bus ticket to get here, hoping we could find somewhere safe." "Well, you found it," Rebecca said, "at least for now. Why don't you both get some rest? We can talk more when you're feeling stronger." But Anna shook her head. "I can't sleep. Every time I close my eyes, I'm afraid they'll find us. I'm afraid I'll wake up and Lily will be gone." Rebecca could see the exhaustion in Anna's eyes, but she also saw something else: the fierce love of a mother who would do anything to protect her child. It reminded Rebecca of why she had become a counselor in the first place, to help families stay together when the world seemed determined to tear them apart. As the afternoon turned into evening, Rebecca realized that her quiet retirement had just become something much more complicated. She had 2 strangers in her house, one of them a frightened child, and somewhere out there were people looking for them. But as she watched Lily draw pictures of flowers and butterflies and saw Anna slowly beginning to relax for the first time in weeks, Rebecca knew she had made the right choice. Sometimes helping others means taking risks. And sometimes the most important thing you can do is simply refuse to look away when someone needs help. That night, as Anna and Lily slept peacefully, for the first time in months, Rebecca sat by her window, keeping watch and wondering what tomorrow would bring. 3 days had passed since Rebecca found Anna and Lily in her garden. During these quiet days, something beautiful was happening. Lily was starting to smile again. She helped Rebecca water the flowers and even laughed when a butterfly landed on her nose. But Anna was still jumpy and scared, always looking out the windows like she expected someone to come looking for them. On the 4th morning, while Lily was playing with some toy blocks Rebecca had found in her closet, Anna finally decided to tell her story. She sat at Rebecca's kitchen table, holding a cup of warm tea with shaking hands. "I don't even know where to start," Anna said quietly. 6 months ago, my life was completely different. I was married to a man named James. From the outside, everything looked perfect. He had a good job, we lived in a nice house, and Lily seemed happy. Rebecca listened carefully, not interrupting, just letting Anna talk at her own pace. But behind closed doors, James was different, Anna continued. He had a terrible temper, When things didn't go his way, he would get angry and he would hurt me. At first, it was just pushing or grabbing my arm too hard, but it got worse over time. Anna's voice got quieter. I tried to hide it from Lily, but kids see everything, you know? She started having nightmares and would hide in her room when Daddy came home from work. That's when I knew I had to do something. Rebecca felt her heart breaking for this young mother. She had seen this pattern before in her counseling work. "What did you do?" she asked gently. "I finally got brave enough to call the police," Anna said. "When they came, I showed them the bruises on my arms. I thought they would help me. I thought they would protect us." But Anna's face showed that things hadn't gone the way she hoped. The police wrote a report, and I went to the hospital to get pictures of my injuries. I even had my neighbor, Mrs. Johnson, write down what she had seen and heard. I thought I had enough proof to keep Lily safe. Anna took a sip of her tea, her hands still shaking. I filed for divorce and asked the court to give me custody of Lily. I showed them all the evidence. The police reports, the hospital records, everything. I was sure they would see that James was dangerous. Rebecca was starting to understand why Anna was so scared of the system. "But they didn't believe you?" "Worse than that," Anna said, tears starting to form in her eyes. "James hired an expensive lawyer. Suddenly all my evidence didn't matter anymore. His lawyer said I was making everything up because I wanted money in the divorce. They said I was trying to turn Lily against her father." This was exactly the kind of situation Rebecca had feared existed, but hoped she would never see. "What happened? In court?" "The judge barely looked at my evidence," Anna said, wiping her eyes. "James's lawyer presented him as this successful businessman who just wanted to spend time with his daughter. They made me look like I was crazy and jealous, and somehow the judge decided that Lily should live with James most of the time." Rebecca felt sick to her stomach. "How is that possible with all the evidence you had?" Anna's voice became bitter. "Money talks louder than truth sometimes. James's company does business with half the town. His golf buddy is the mayor. His lawyer plays poker with the judge every Friday night. I found out later that my own lawyer, the free one they gave me, had only spent 2 hours preparing for our case." The picture was becoming clearer, and it was ugly. Rebecca had heard rumors of things like this happening, but she had never seen it up close. "So James got custody?" Rebecca asked. 3 days a week at first," Anna said. But that was enough. Every time Lily came back from his house, she was different. More scared, more quiet. She started having accidents again, even though she had been potty trained for over a year. She would wake up screaming in the middle of the night. Anna looked over at Lily, who was happily building a tower with her blocks, completely unaware of the adult conversation happening nearby. "I took her to a doctor," Anna continued. "A child psychologist who specializes in helping kids who have been through trauma. After talking to Lily for several weeks, she wrote a report saying that Lily was showing signs of being hurt and scared at her father's house." "Did that help in court?" Rebecca asked hopefully. "James's lawyer said the psychologist was biased because I had paid for her. They brought in their own expert who said Lily was just confused because of the divorce and that spending more time with her father would actually help her." Rebecca couldn't believe what she was hearing. "So what did the judge do?" "He gave James even more time with Lily," Anna said, her voice breaking. "He said that I was trying to poison my daughter against her father and that James deserved a fair chance to be a parent." Anna put her head in her hands. "That's when I knew the system wasn't going to protect us. Every weekend I had to send my little girl to a place where she wasn't safe, and there was nothing I could do about it." "Is that when you decided to run?" Rebecca asked. "Not right away," Anna said. "I tried everything I could think of. I called Child Protective Services, but they said they couldn't do anything because there was a court order. I tried to get a new lawyer, but I had already spent all my savings on the first one. I even went to the police again, but they said it was a family court matter, and they couldn't interfere." Anna looked out the window, as if checking to make sure no one was watching the house. "The final straw came 3 weeks ago. Lily came back from James's house and she had a bruise on her back. When I asked her about it, she said Daddy had pushed her down when she was crying for me. Rebecca felt tears in her own eyes now. What did you do? I took pictures and rushed her to the emergency room, Anna said. But when we got there, James was already waiting for us. He told the doctors that Lily had fallen off her bike at his house and that I was overreacting because I was angry about the custody arrangement. And they believed him? His story sounded more believable than mine, Anna said sadly. A simple accident versus a crazy ex-wife making accusations. The doctor treated Lily's bruise and sent us home with instructions to be more careful when she's riding her bike. Anna wiped her eyes and looked directly at Rebecca. That night, I made the hardest decision of my life. I packed one bag with our most important things, took all the cash I had saved, and we left. I knew that if I stayed, something worse was going to happen to Lily. And you've been running ever since? We've been staying in different places, never more than a few days anywhere, Anna said. I know James has hired people to look for us. I know there are legal papers saying I kidnapped my own daughter. But I also know that if they find us, Lily will be sent back to someone who hurts her. Rebecca reached across the table and took Anna's hand. You did the right thing, she said firmly. A mother's first job is to protect her child, and that's exactly what you're doing. But I can't keep running forever, Anna said. We're almost out of money. Lily needs to be in school, needs to have a normal life. I don't know what to do next. Rebecca looked over at Lily, who had finished her tower and was now making her toy animals have a tea party. The little girl looked so innocent and happy in this moment, completely unaware of how much danger she had been in. You're not going to run anymore, Rebecca said with determination in her voice. We're going to fight this the right way. I know people who can help us, people who actually care about protecting children. Anna looked skeptical. I tried fighting before. It didn't work. That's because you were fighting alone, Rebecca said. This time you'll have help. Real help from people who know how the system works and how to make it work for families like yours. For the first time since she had arrived, Anna looked like she might have a tiny bit of hope. But Rebecca could also see the fear still there, the knowledge that they were up against powerful people who had already won once. As if reading her thoughts, Anna asked, What if they find us before we can do anything? What if James's people are already looking for us here? Rebecca squeezed Anna's hand tighter. Then we'll be ready for them. But first, we need to build a case that even money and connections can't ignore. Rebecca had spent most of the night thinking about Anna's story. By morning, she had made up her mind. She wasn't going to let this family suffer alone anymore. After breakfast, while Lily was watching cartoons in the living room, Rebecca sat down with Anna at the kitchen table. I've been thinking about what you told me yesterday, Rebecca said. And I think I know someone who can help us. Anna looked worried. Rebecca, I appreciate everything you've done, but I don't think you understand how powerful James is. He has connections everywhere. Every time I tried to get help before, somehow he found out about it. That's because you were working within the same system that failed you, Rebecca explained. But I know someone who works outside that system. Her name is Victoria Martinez, and she's the toughest family lawyer in the state. Rebecca pulled out her old phone book and found Victoria's number. Victoria doesn't care about golf buddies or poker games. She only cares about protecting children. I worked with her on several cases when I was still counseling families. Anna shook her head. I can't afford a lawyer like that. I spent everything I had on my first lawyer, and he barely did anything. Don't worry about the money right now, Rebecca said firmly. Let me call her first and explain the situation. Victoria has been known to take cases for free when children are in danger. Before Anna could protest, Rebecca was already dialing the number. After a few rings, a confident voice answered. Victoria Martinez Law Office. Victoria, this is Rebecca Thompson. I used to work with Child Family Services before I retired. I have a situation here that I think you need to know about. There was a pause. Rebecca, it's been years. What's going on? Rebecca explained Anna and Lily's situation, being careful not to give too many details over the phone. Victoria listened quietly, asking only a few questions. This sounds exactly like the Johnson case from 2 years ago, Victoria said. Bring them to my office tomorrow morning at 9. And Rebecca, tell Anna not to worry about payment right now. If this case is what I think it is, we'll figure out the money later. When Rebecca hung up, Anna was staring at her with a mixture of hope and disbelief. She'll really help us? She'll definitely try, Rebecca said. But we need to be smart about this. If James has people looking for you, we need to be careful about how we move around town. That afternoon, Rebecca made another important phone call. She contacted her friend Helen, who used to work as a social worker in the next county over. Helen, I need a favor, Rebecca said when her friend answered. I have a mother and child staying with me, and they need somewhere safe to stay while we sort out some legal issues. Helen didn't ask too many questions over the phone, but she agreed to let Anna and Lily stay at her house, which was an hour away from Rebecca's town. It might be safer if they're not at your place when the legal stuff starts happening, Helen said wisely. The next morning, Rebecca drove Anna and Lily to Victoria's office, using back roads and making sure no one was following them. Victoria's office was in a small building downtown. Nothing fancy, but Rebecca knew that Victoria's results spoke louder than expensive furniture. Victoria turned out to be a woman in her 50s with kind eyes, but a no-nonsense attitude. She sat down with Anna and listened to her entire story without interrupting once. She took notes and asked specific questions about dates, witnesses, and evidence. Anna, I'm going to be honest with you, Victoria said when Anna finished talking. This is going to be a tough fight. James clearly has advantages in terms of money and connections, but you have something he doesn't have. What's that? Anna asked. You have the truth, Victoria said simply, and you have people who are willing to stand up for that truth. Victoria explained her plan. First, they would need to gather new evidence. The old evidence was still good, but they needed more recent proof of what had been happening to Lily. We're going to need Lily to talk to a different child psychologist, Victoria said, someone who specializes in court cases and whose reputation can't be questioned. Anna looked nervous. I don't want to put Lily through more questions and tests. She's been through enough. I understand, Victoria said gently. But right now, Lily's voice is the most important evidence we have. Dr. Patricia Wong works with children who have been hurt. She's very gentle, and she knows how to help kids feel safe while they talk. While Victoria made arrangements for Lily to see Dr. Wong, Rebecca was working on another part of the plan. She started reaching out to her old network of social workers, teachers, and child advocates. We need to document everything, Rebecca explained to Anna. Every person who saw bruises, every neighbor who heard shouting, every teacher who noticed changes in Lily's behavior. Over the next few days, Rebecca was amazed by how many people were willing to help. Mrs. Johnson, Anna's old neighbor, agreed to write a detailed statement about what she had seen and heard. Lily's preschool teacher remembered how the little girl had changed after spending weekends with her father. Even the emergency room nurse who had treated Lily's bruise agreed to look at the case again. I remember that night, she told Victoria over the phone. Something felt wrong about the father's story, but the doctor was in a hurry and didn't want to make waves. But the most important breakthrough came from Dr. Wong's sessions with Lily. The child psychologist was patient and gentle, using dolls and drawing to help Lily express what had happened to her. Lily is clearly traumatized, Dr. Wong told Victoria and Anna after 3 sessions. She shows classic signs of a child who has been frightened and hurt by someone she was supposed to trust. Her drawings and play consistently show themes of fear and hiding. Dr. Wong's report was detailed and professional. Unlike the first psychologist's report, this one couldn't be dismissed as biased. Dr. Wong had worked on over 100 court cases and had never had her professional opinion successfully challenged. Meanwhile, Victoria was working on the legal strategy. She filed papers to reopen Anna's custody case, claiming new evidence had been discovered. She also requested that Lily be placed in protective custody while the case was being reviewed. "James's lawyers are going to fight this hard," Victoria warned Anna. "They're going to try to make you look like a kidnapper and a liar. Are you ready for that?" Anna looked scared but determined. "I'm ready for anything if it means keeping Lily safe." The first court hearing was scheduled for the following week. Victoria spent hours preparing Anna for the questions she would be asked. They practiced how to stay calm when James's lawyer tried to make her angry and how to stick to the facts, even when they twisted her words. Rebecca helped by taking care of Lily during these preparation sessions. The little girl was staying with Helen, but visited Rebecca's house every day. Rebecca noticed that Lily was getting stronger and more confident. She laughed more and seemed less afraid of loud noises. "You know what I think?" Lily said one afternoon while they were coloring together. "I think my mommy is brave like a superhero." Rebecca smiled. "I think you're right about that." 3 days before the court hearing, Victoria got some unexpected help. A private investigator named Tony Rodriguez contacted her office. "I heard about your case through some mutual friends," Tony said. "I've been keeping an eye on James's business dealings for another case, and I think you might be interested in what I've found." Tony had discovered that James's company had been involved in some questionable financial practices. More importantly, he had found 2 other women who had been married to James before Anna. Both of them had similar stories about his temper and his ability to manipulate the legal system. "One of them is willing to testify," Tony told Victoria. "Her name is Rachel, and she lost custody of her son to James 5 years ago. She's been trying to get him back ever since." This was exactly the kind of evidence Victoria had been hoping for. It showed that James had a pattern of behavior, not just isolated incidents with Anna. As the court date approached, Rebecca could see that Anna was getting more nervous but also more hopeful. For the first time in months, it seemed like they might actually have a chance to win. "What if we lose?" Anna asked Rebecca the night before the hearing. "Then we keep fighting," Rebecca said firmly. "But I don't think we're going to lose. We have the truth on our side, and now we have the evidence to prove it." The next morning, as they drove to the courthouse, Rebecca reached over and squeezed Anna's hand. "Remember, you're not alone in this anymore." The morning of the court hearing started with hope. Rebecca woke up early and made Anna's favorite breakfast, pancakes with fresh strawberries. Anna seemed nervous but determined. She had practiced her testimony so many times that she could say it in her sleep. "Today is the day we get our life back," Anna told Lily as she brushed her daughter's hair. "Today, the judge will finally listen to the truth." But as they were getting ready to leave for the courthouse, Rebecca's phone rang. It was Victoria, and her voice sounded worried. "Rebecca, we have a problem," Victoria said. "James's lawyers filed an emergency motion this morning. They're claiming that Anna kidnapped Lily and that you're helping her hide from the law." Rebecca felt her heart sink. "What does that mean?" "It means they're trying to have Anna arrested before we even get to present our case," Victoria explained. "I'm at the courthouse now trying to fight it, but James brought 3 lawyers with him today. They're pulling out every trick they can think of." Anna could tell from Rebecca's face that something was wrong. "What's happening?" she asked. Rebecca hung up the phone and gently explained the situation. Anna went pale and sat down heavily in a chair. "I knew this would happen," Anna said quietly. "I knew James wouldn't let us win, even when we have all the evidence on our side." "We're not giving up," Rebecca said firmly. "Victoria is still fighting for us at the courthouse." But an hour later, Victoria called again with worse news. "The judge granted their emergency motion," she said. "There's a warrant out for Anna's arrest, and they've ordered Lily to be placed in temporary custody." Rebecca couldn't believe what she was hearing. "How is that possible?" We have Dr. Wong's report. We have witness statements. We have everything. James's lawyers convinced the judge that all of our evidence was gathered illegally because Anna was technically kidnapping Lily when she ran away, Victoria explained. They're saying that nothing we found can be used in court because Anna broke the law first. Anna overheard the conversation and started crying. They're going to take Lily away from me, aren't they? Before Rebecca could answer, they heard doors slamming outside. Rebecca looked out the window and saw 2 police cars and a black sedan parked in her driveway. They're here, Rebecca said quietly. Anna grabbed Lily and held her tight. I'm not letting them take her, she said. I don't care what happens to me, but I'm not letting them take my baby. The police knocked on the door. Rebecca took a deep breath and opened it. There were 2 officers in uniform and a woman in a suit who said she was from Child Protective Services. We have a warrant for Anna Chen's arrest, one of the officers said, and we need to take custody of the child. Lily started crying when she saw the strangers. She clung to her mother and wouldn't let go. Please, Anna begged. Just give us 5 minutes to explain what's happening. Just look at our evidence before you take her away. But the officers said they were just following orders. They had paperwork. That said, Lily needed to be placed in protective custody immediately while the legal issues were sorted out. Rebecca tried to intervene. This child has been through trauma. Taking her away from her mother right now will only make things worse. The woman from Child Protective Services seemed sympathetic, but she said her hands were tied. I'm sorry, but we have to follow the court order. The child will be placed with a foster family until this case is resolved. As they tried to separate Lily from Anna, the little girl became hysterical. She screamed for her mother and tried to run back to her. It was heartbreaking to watch. Please don't take me away from Mommy, Lily cried. I want to stay with Mommy and Miss Rebecca. Anna was handcuffed and put in the back of a police car. Through the window, she could see Lily being carried to another car, still crying and reaching for her mother. Rebecca felt helpless as she watched both of them being driven away. In less than an hour, everything they had worked for had fallen apart. Later that day, Victoria came to Rebecca's house to explain what had happened in court. James's legal team was prepared for everything we threw at them, Victoria said sadly. They had answers for every piece of evidence we presented. It was like they knew exactly what we were going to say. Rebecca felt sick to her stomach. How did they know our strategy? I think someone on the inside has been feeding them information, Victoria said. Someone who knew about our case preparations. It got worse. The local newspaper ran a story the next day with the headline, Local Woman Helps Kidnapper Hide from Justice. The article painted Rebecca as someone who had interfered with a legal custody arrangement and helped a disturbed mother keep a child away from her loving father. Rebecca's neighbors started looking at her differently. Some people she had known for years crossed the street to avoid talking to her. Her phone rang constantly with reporters wanting to interview her about the case. I don't understand how this happened, Rebecca told Helen when her friend came to check on her. We had so much evidence. We had witnesses, expert testimony, everything. Money and power can buy a lot of things, Helen said sadly, including the right story in the newspaper and the right pressure on the right people. Anna was being held in jail while waiting for her bail hearing. Victoria was trying to get her released, but James's lawyers were arguing that she was a flight risk, who would run away again if given the chance. Meanwhile, Lily was placed with a foster family across town. Victoria tried to arrange visits between Lily and Anna, but James's lawyers blocked every attempt. They're claiming that seeing her mother will be emotionally damaging to the child, Victoria explained to Rebecca. They're saying Anna has brainwashed Lily against her father, and that contact needs to be limited until Lily can receive proper therapy. Rebecca visited Anna in jail and was shocked by how much she had changed in just a few days. Anna looked defeated and broken. I should have kept running, Anna said through the glass partition. At least when we were hiding, Lily was safe with me. Now she's with strangers, and I don't even know if she's okay. We're going to figure this out, Rebecca promised. Victoria is working on an appeal, and we're going to find a way to prove that James manipulated the system. But Anna shook her head. Look around, Rebecca. I'm in jail, Lily is in foster care, and you're being treated like a criminal in your own town. James won. He always wins. Rebecca left the jail feeling more discouraged than she had ever felt in her life. Everything they had tried to do to help Anna and Lily had backfired. Instead of protecting them, Rebecca had somehow made their situation worse. That night, Rebecca sat in her empty house thinking about Lily. She wondered if the little girl was scared, if she was crying for her mother, if the foster family was being kind to her. Rebecca also thought about Anna, alone in a jail cell, probably wondering if she would ever see her daughter again. For the first time since this whole situation began, Rebecca wondered if she had made the right choice in helping them. Maybe she should have called the authorities that first day when she found them in her garden. Maybe trying to fight the system had been a mistake. But then she remembered Lily's smile when they were watering flowers together. She remembered how safe and happy the little girl had looked during those few days when she wasn't afraid. Rebecca picked up her phone and called Victoria. I know everything looks hopeless right now, Rebecca said, but we can't give up. Somewhere out there is the evidence we need to prove what really happened. We just have to find it. Victoria was quiet for a moment. Rebecca, I have to be honest with you. This case has gotten bigger than both of us. James has resources we can't match, and he's using all of them to destroy anyone who tries to help Anna. Then we need to get help from someone bigger than James, Rebecca said with determination. There has to be someone out there who cares more about protecting children than protecting rich men with connections. As Rebecca hung up the phone, she realized that their fight was far from over. If anything, it was just beginning, and this time they were going to need a miracle. 2 weeks had passed since Anna's arrest, and Rebecca was starting to lose hope. She had barely slept, spending her days trying to find new evidence and her nights worrying about Lily. Then, on a rainy Thursday morning, her phone rang with a call that would change everything. Is this Rebecca Thompson? Asked a voice she didn't recognize. Yes. Who is this? My name is Detective Maria Santos from the State Police. I've been following the Anna Chen case, and I think you and I need to talk. Rebecca's heart started beating faster. Are you here to arrest me too? No, ma'am, Detective Santos said gently. I'm here because I think Anna and her daughter have been telling the truth all along, and I think I can prove it. An hour later, Detective Santos was sitting in Rebecca's living room, showing her a thick folder full of documents. I've been investigating James Chen for the past 6 months, Detective Santos explained. Not for the custody case, but for something completely different. His business has been involved in some illegal activities, and during our investigation, we discovered some very interesting information. Detective Santos opened the folder and pulled out several papers. 3 other women have filed complaints against James over the years. All of them lost custody of their children to him, and all of them told the same story Anna told. Rebecca looked at the documents in amazement. Why didn't anyone listen to them before? Same reason no one listened to Anna at first, Detective Santos said. James is very good at making himself look like the victim. But here's the thing. One of his former business partners has decided to cooperate with our investigation. Detective Santos pulled out a small recording device. This partner has been secretly recording conversations with James for months, and some of these recordings are very interesting. She pressed play, and Rebecca heard James's voice coming through the speaker clearly. The trick is to make the mother look crazy, James was saying to someone. You pay the right people, you tell the right story, and suddenly everyone believes that you're the good guy and she's the problem. I've done it 3 times now, and it works every time. Rebecca felt, her heart pounding. Is that admissible in court? Absolutely, Detective Santos said with a smile. And there's more. The detective played another recording where James bragged about bribing court officials and manipulating evidence. In one particularly damaging recording, he talked about how he enjoyed scaring his children as a way to control their mothers. "This is exactly what we need to prove Anna's innocence," Rebecca said excitedly. "It gets better," Detective Santos said. "We also have video evidence." She showed Rebecca security camera footage from James's office building. In the video, they could see James meeting with the judge who had ruled against Anna, exchanging what looked like an envelope full of money. "We've been building a case against James for months," Detective Santos explained. "The custody case was just one piece of a much larger puzzle. James has been using his money and connections to manipulate the legal system for years." Rebecca couldn't believe what she was hearing. "What happens now?" "Now we present all of this evidence to a federal judge," Detective Santos said. "James is going to be arrested on charges of bribery, corruption, and conspiracy, and Anna is going to get her daughter back." That afternoon, Detective Santos and Rebecca drove to the jail to tell Anna the good news. When Anna heard the recordings, she started crying tears of relief. "I knew I was telling the truth," Anna said through her tears. "I knew I wasn't crazy. But for so long, everyone made me feel like I was." "You were incredibly brave," Detective Santos told her. "Your willingness to risk everything to protect your daughter is what gave us the time we needed to build our case against James." The next day, Anna was released from jail, and the charges against her were dropped. More importantly, Lily was returned to her mother's custody immediately. Rebecca was at the courthouse when the reunification happened. She watched through tears as Lily ran into her mother's arms, both of them crying and holding each other tight. "Mommy, I missed you so much," Lily said. "I was so scared without you." "I'm never leaving you again, baby," Anna promised. "We're going to be safe now." The media attention that had been so negative for Rebecca suddenly turned positive. The same newspaper that had called her a criminal helper now wrote a story praising her courage in protecting an innocent family. "Local retired counselor helps expose corruption in family court system," the headline read. But the best part came a few weeks later when James was sentenced to 5 years in prison for his crimes. The judge who had ruled against Anna was also arrested and removed from the bench. Victoria worked with Anna to get all of James's previous custody decisions reviewed. The 3 other women who had lost their children to him were given the chance to reunite with their kids. "You saved more than just Anna and Lily," Victoria told Rebecca. "You saved at least 6 other children who were trapped in the same situation." Anna and Lily moved to a small apartment across town, close enough that they could visit Rebecca regularly. Anna got a job at a local children's center, helping other families going through difficult times. "I want to use my experience to help other mothers who are in the same situation I was in," Anna told Rebecca. "I want to make sure no other child has to go through what Lily went through." Lily started attending a new school and began seeing a therapist who specialized in helping children recover from trauma. Slowly but surely, she was becoming the happy, carefree little girl she was meant to be. "Miss Rebecca," Lily said one day while they were working in the garden together, "thank you for saving me and my mommy." Rebecca hugged the little girl tight. "You and your mommy saved yourselves, sweetie. I just helped a little bit." 6 months. After everything ended, Rebecca received a letter in the mail that made her smile. It was from another mother in a different state who had heard about Anna's case. "Dear Mrs. Thompson," the letter read, "I saw your story on the news, and I think I'm in the same situation Anna was in. My ex-husband has money and connections, and the court won't listen to me about what he's doing to our son. I don't know who else to turn to. Can you help me?" Rebecca looked at the letter and then at the photo that had been included. A young mother holding a little boy who looked scared and sad. She picked up her phone and called Victoria. "I think we have another case," she said. "I was wondering when—" "You were going to call?" Victoria said with a laugh. I've been getting calls from mothers all over the country who need help. Are you ready to become a full-time advocate for families? Rebecca looked out her window at the garden where she had first found Anna and Lily. The flowers were blooming beautifully, and she could hear children playing in the neighborhood. Yes, she said firmly. I think that's exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. A year later, Rebecca had helped 12 families reunite with their children. She had become known nationwide as someone who wouldn't give up when a child was in danger. Anna became her partner in this work, using her own experience to help other mothers navigate the legal system. Together, they created a non-profit organization called Safe Harbor, which provided legal help and support to families fighting corrupt custody decisions. Lily grew into a confident, happy 8-year-old who loved school and had lots of friends. Sometimes she would help Rebecca and her mother at the Safe Harbor office, drawing pictures for the children who came there with their families. When I grow up, I want to help kids like you and Mommy helped me, Lily told Rebecca one day. Rebecca smiled and hugged her. I think you'll be perfect at it. On quiet evenings, Rebecca would sit in her garden and think about how much her life had changed since that morning when she found a desperate mother and child behind her fence. She had started retirement thinking her days of helping people were over. Instead, she had discovered that sometimes the most important work of your life begins when you think it's already finished. And sometimes, the greatest gift you can give someone is simply refusing to walk away when they need help the most. The garden where it all began was now full of flowers that Anna and Lily had planted, a reminder that even in the darkest times, beautiful things can grow when people care for each other. And every time Rebecca received a letter from another family asking for help, she remembered Anna's first desperate words. Please, don't let them take her. She had kept that promise, and she planned to keep making that same promise to every family that needed her help.